we're going to have a fun class today with a lot of very unique examples. Even I was a bit surprised by them, so I'm looking forward to sharing them with you today. So today's class, we're going to talk about the thought faculty of the superconscious mind, and we're going to start considering what is thought, what is its journey, and how do we harness the power of thought through meditation. So let's start with the first question. What is thought? Now, we all know that on this earth, we as human beings, and some creatures of the ocean, like dolphins, for example, enjoy the privilege of being amongst what we call the intelligent species. Now, with the amount of drama and circuses going on in our world today, I'm wondering about that one. But I think maybe the dolphins are better off than we are. But we are the intelligent species. And this privilege is derived from our more advanced power of thought. Now, thought is one of the very few aspects of us that actually crosses beyond the three dimensions of our material world. Remember, our material world is perceived by these two eyes in three dimensions: length, width, and height. And so thought is the only aspect of us that goes into infinite dimensions, because thought cannot be limited, it cannot be stopped, it cannot be contained. Once you give birth to a thought, it has a life of its own, as we will try and understand more today. And thought is really one of the most unique gifts we have all been blessed with, that power of thought. And thought is a form of highly intelligent energy. And I use the word energy for lack of a better word, but it's a form of highly intelligent energy. And this energy is of an extremely low level. Like everything in nature works on the basis of very low level energies. Whole of nature functions at this basic low level of energies. And this is what makes nature so perfect. By contrast, in our world, the energy we know is electrical energy that we have developed through our science and technology. But this energy is of a very, very high level, making it very inefficient. I mean, think about how we transmit electrical energy from our homes to cities, countries, across massive cables that traverse our environment. Quite ugly, actually. Those huge pylons and high-tension cables are a result of where we are technologically as a civilization. But that's the technology we have today, and that's the technology we are very grateful to have. But I do believe that over time, as our science and technology evolves, we will go to copying nature. The science of nature will come to play with very low-level energies. Even if you look today at how the digital field works and how AI works, the actual energy bandwidth of those is extremely low. So we as a civilization are moving closer towards the lowest level energies of nature, and we will be inspired, and we will be blessed by the Creator. Our scientists will be blessed to bring forward this advancement to us. Now, if you remember, I mentioned that we live in a highly intelligent environment, and that's what I call the intelligence of nature, which is in fact part of the infinite intelligence of our Creator. So if you think of nature's energy and thought, this needs no form of transmission because it connects directly with the intelligence of nature, which is like a superbrain. We all live in it. So when we think about oneness and we look at nature's intelligence, then it's all part of the infinite intelligence of the Creator, and we live within it. So in previous classes, I've also mentioned the phrase from the scriptures which say, we live in the being of God and being of the Creator. So that's the intelligence of nature, or that's the superbrain that we live within. So the energies of nature and our thoughts are living energies. And the intelligent forces that instantaneously connect with the intelligence of nature, hence they don't need to travel. Hence we don't need big cables and pylons when we are dealing with nature, when we are dealing with intelligence, when we are dealing with thought. Thought travels. But it doesn't have to go far because it immediately engages with the intelligence of nature. And imagine when you think of thought as a cell in your brain, for example, how long does this cell need to communicate with other parts of the brain? It's instantaneous. So our thought communicates with the intelligence of nature instantaneously. There is no transmission. So for example, when you pray for someone who is, let's say, 10,000 kilometers away, the distance doesn't matter, because the minute you pray for them, your thought engages with the intelligence of nature, intelligence of the Creator. And they too are part of that. So as a result, your thought reaches them instantaneously. Your prayer reaches them instantaneously. Hence, your thought knows no boundaries. Now, with that basic understanding, let's understand thought a little further. And because each time we think, we produce a living seed, a seed thought, which instantly reaches everyone, near and far. So every thought of ours is a seed thought that then germinates in the minds of others, causing events and experiences. And these experiences can be positive or negative, depending on the energy of the seed thought. So thought has multiple levels, and let us try to understand the key levels of thought using a very simple example as possible. You have all seen an unripe coconut on the tree. I'm sure most of you have enjoyed the milk of the unripe coconut as well as its kernel. So let's think about thought and its levels from the perspective of the analogy of a young coconut. The color of the young coconut defines its energy, for example. So let us say that green being positive and brown being negative, for example's sake. Thought has its own energy, positive and negative. And let's think about that as the color of the coconut. And of course, recognizing that we should do our best to keep our color green, because living with positive thoughts and staying away from negative ones enhances our own state of being as well as enhances the lives of everyone around us. Now, let's go past the color. Coconut has a fibrous outer shell, which you have to cut with a sharp knife. That fibrous material, let's think of that as the lower level mind. This lower level mind produces thoughts of a lower intelligence. But these thoughts of lower intelligence have the power to influence our material dimension and sustenance of our material lives. So these are very important low intelligence thoughts. And we have all lived with the help of these low intelligent thoughts, and we continue to do it. Low intelligence, energy-wise. I'm not talking about capability-wise, energy-wise. And so they help us fulfill our basic needs. So those thoughts are like the fibrous shell behind the color. That's what you keep cutting till you get to the kernel. When you get past the fibrous shell, you have the white inner layer of the young coconut, which is the kernel, or in biological terms, we call it the endosperm, which is creamy in young coconuts and firmer in older coconuts. So that's not so difficult to envision. Now, this is higher intelligence thought, which is a higher intelligence energy. And this is the thought of the higher level mind, which can help us make bigger decisions, as I said earlier, about our lives, about our careers, about our children, about our investments, about excelling in everything we do. These are higher level or higher intelligence thoughts, and they are synonymous with the kernel, that white part of the coconut, young coconut. Now, younger minds are the creamy kernel. The wiser, more educated, developed, and experienced minds are the firmer kernel. Nice and simple analogy. So, in East Africa, we used to call the young coconut madafu, and in Hindi you call it nariyal, and there are so many other names. But we used to enjoy the soft, creamy kernel, which was absolutely mouth-watering, very nice and sweet. So my dear friends, when we are all creamy kernels earlier in life, and then the school of hard knocks shapes us from creamy to firmer. And we all have a few bruises on our backs to show that. Life has hammered us to give us wisdom even through the most difficult of circumstances. But if those of us who have been blessed with that wisdom, our kernel is firmer. So it's interesting to see our lives replayed through our children. When they reach a certain age, they believe they know everything, absolutely everything, more than their parents or anyone else. And we have to live with this with a smile, because we too were once like them. We thought we knew it all. We could teach our parents. That's the creamy kernel. Now, I remember taking our 6-month-old German Shepherd puppy when we lived in Spain to the veterinarians. Beautiful German Shepherd puppy, nice little guy. I took him to the vet, and we were waiting in the waiting area, and he kept wanting to attack this huge female German Shepherd who was sitting with her master minding her own business. She was like 5 times his size or more. She was probably 5+ years old. And she was lovely and calm like the perfect mother, perfect mom. And this little guy of mine broke loose, ran to her, and tried to pick a fight with her, like a loud, undersized Roman gladiator. And she kept ignoring his charges, like knowing this is just noise. But after a while, she got fed up with him. And so she totally deflated my little puppy's confidence with a single stroke of her paw on his head, and just growled with that deep growl. And he ran back to me at full speed with his tail between his legs, hid under my chair. Creamy layer versus firmer layer. That's as simple as that. And we were all like this young puppy once, and now we've grown up a bit. But this analogy helps us understand the levels of thought, the intelligence of thought. Even the creamy layer has the same amount of intelligence energy, but wisdom, life, learning rounds it to become firmer. Now, past the kernel, we come to the best part of the coconut, which is the water. This is the highest level, energy level thought, the most powerful intelligence energy of a thought that resides with us in our superconscious mind. And this thought can create and manifest anything. This is where the enlightened apex thoughts, such as inspiration, determination, invocation, this is where these very powerful thoughts reside. Very, very powerful. Now let's learn how we can work with them. You can think of the water in the core of the coconut as a superconscious level. And the intellect is where the white kernel meets the water in the coconut. Remember earlier on I said the intellect borders with the infinite intelligence. So you can now see that the white kernel, where it meets the water, is the most highest level of intelligence of the material level mind. When you get into the water, you're talking about pure power of intelligence in that thought. Now, when I was preparing this class and noting down the thoughts that were flowing through me, I smiled with pure admiration at how beautiful an analogy had just emerged to show us the levels of our thought. From the color of the coconut, which is its energy, then the fibrous shell, which is the lower intelligence thought, to the kernel, which is higher mind, higher level mind, higher intelligence thought, to the intellect, which borders with the water, and then the highest intelligence energy thoughts of inspiration, invocation, determination. These are thoughts that change a person, they change the course of the future, and they've changed the course of history of human beings. Those thoughts is what we're talking about. So, a young coconut, totally awesome, easy way to remember, easy way to learn. So now, when you think of the thought faculty of the superconscious mind, you can start from the water, and then you can see it traverse the full coconut from the intellect to the higher level mind to the lower level mind. This is how inspiration flows. So simple and easy to understand. And the best part is that each one of us is blessed with this coconut, these levels of thought, this engagement with the superconscious mind. Each one of us is blessed with it. Key is making the most of it. Now, another aspect of thought, which is fascinating, is how thought imprints itself in nature through water. Remember, water is one of the most intelligent elements on this planet. And it's not something we just wash our hands with and flush our toilets with. Water is life. Water is pure intelligence. When a seed has been underground for 500 years, and then that one droplet of water touches it, and it bursts to life. So water is highly intelligent, and thought imprints itself in the intelligence of water. And there has been a great deal of scientific work and demonstration by famous scientists like Masaru Emoto from Japan. And I would urge you to go online and look up the works of Masaru Emoto. He took pieces of paper and wrote under each one he put a different thought. Like he put love, and then he placed it under a petri dish of water. Another one he put anger, placed it under another petri dish with water. Then he put harmony, then he put I will kill you, all these thoughts. And then what he did was he connected the water with these pieces of paper. The water absorbed the imprints of those thoughts, and then he froze it, I believe, to minus 12 degrees, or between minus 12 and minus 20, I don't remember. And then he took photographs of the crystalline structures that appeared on the water. And you'll be able to see these pictures online. He's very generously shared them with humanity, and God bless him. And you see that the crystalline structure of water, where you had words like harmony and love, was perfect, completely perfect crystals. And then where you had things like anger, hatred, there was no structure. It was chaos. You could not pick out any structures. It was just fragmented. And when you had thoughts like I will kill you, there was completely no form. It was actually ugly. And you should see all these pictures. But what does this tell you? That 85% of our bodies is water. And our thoughts imprint themselves in our blood. So what is the quality of our health? It is determined by the quality of our thoughts. And so our thoughts program our bodies. Our thoughts program our blood. If we're negative, if we absorb so much negativity, like someone asked a question, the damage it does, because the crystalline structure of our blood is so much weaker and poorer. So the quality of our thoughts is extremely important. The quality of the thoughts of others around us also imprint in us. If we hang around negative people, we are taking that energy. Unless we learn to anchor our thoughts and anchor our state of being in the right states of being, which I've shared with you in many classes, And please go and see the recordings of masterclasses 1 to 5, the original ones. And when the refresher ones are ready, that will be much nicer videos. You will be able to also keep repeating that. But those of us anchored in positive states of being, even though we're surrounded by negative people or negativity, we are okay. Because our inner state of being, the power of that thought imprints itself on the water in our body. So health and thought are directly correlated. Very, very important. And one of the biggest pollutions on the planet today is not environmental pollution from smog and industries and air travel. Yes, that's dreadful. But the worst form of pollution is thought pollution. Because when we live in a mass consciousness filled with fear, falsehood, anger, anguish, you turn on the news and you see terrible stuff. So we live in a negative mass consciousness. Therefore, the waters of this earth, the waters that we drink, also pick up this negativity. And as a result, thought pollution is a big problem. And this is why we started the Shift organization so many years ago, was people like us got together and we used power of thought and meditation to work towards creating a shift in human consciousness from negative to positive. And we did our last project in the Antarctic last November. And many of you who are here are also part of the Shift group. So this was the basis, shift human consciousness towards the positive. If you want to eliminate thought pollution, start by fixing our own thoughts. More of us who do it, and share this knowledge with people. Share this when you're having discussions. Thought has life, thought imprints. We can reverse this whole thought pollution cycle by the very thought that caused it. Except you reverse the polarity of that thought. Instead of negative, you go to positive. And we have to consciously cleanse our own thoughts and consciousness through contemplation, through meditation, and engaging our thought faculty, constantly being in touch with that water of the coconut. If those thoughts permeate us, our consciousness is super clear, super positive, super powerful. That's why we want to learn how to meditate. That's why we want to learn the techniques to anchor ourselves in positive states of being. We want to learn the techniques which can help us to rise towards the light in our spiritual journey. All these techniques is what we are sharing in these classes. Then you take that and in accordance with your own faith and beliefs, use them to prepare yourself to go to that very sharp level of focus and fly. Fly like the eagle that soars well above in the lights. That's my prayer for you. And for my part, I will share whatever little I know as food for thought, for you to consider, contemplate, use, or not. That's up to you. Now, let's think about the journey of thought. Once you give birth to a seed of thought, what happens to it? And I would like to share this journey with you again through something which you can relate to, something physical. It's not a coconut this time. But when we lived in Spain, I used to love visiting the Alhambra in Granada very frequently. And it was a place where there's so much to learn. And every time I visited the Alhambra, I was like a kid in a candy store because I was so fascinated by the art, so fascinated by the symbolism, the sculptures, the majesty of this powerful piece of what I call spiritual art. It's manifested into architecture in the Alhambra. Those of you who have been there, I think will know what I'm saying. Those who haven't, I do pray you get a chance to go and visit this place. It's truly worth seeing. And I had been to the Taj Mahal before going to the Alhambra. I was awestruck with how beautiful that architecture was. And then when I went to the Alhambra, it took me to a new level of awe, which showed me that this is spiritual art laid out for the thirsty mind to absorb, to take in, to enlighten. Now, when you're going to the Alhambra, in fact, as you drive up the mountain in Granada, you go through on the side of the road little caves where during the days of the Moors, the soldiers used to hide in those caves and look out for intruders. Then as you enter the Alhambra, there is a fort which was built by the Moors and the Arabs who were basically from North Africa all the way to Damascus. And they built a fort from where they kept control of all attackers, intruders that came in their space. In the core of the Alhambra is a palace called the Nazarene Palace, which in my opinion is one of the wonders of the world. And I will share more about why. Next to this palace of the Nazarene Palace, many years after the Moors left Spain, King Carlos of Spain decided that since the Nazarene Palace was at the core of the Alhambra, he was going to build another palace as a sort of expression of his inspiration of architecture. And that palace took several iterations to build because of recurring earthquakes, but finally it got built. So there are two palaces. One, I think, that represents architecture of the mind of the human, and then the other one, architecture of a spiritual dimension. Both are beautiful. It depends where you are in life. But for me, I was drawn like a magnet towards the architecture of spirituality. And in the Nazarene Palace, every wall and ceiling and sculpture tells a story. And somehow every time I stopped to focus on something, I was inspired with its meaning and significance. Because the thoughts of the artists are connected to their works. Remember, thought has life. If you see anything from the level of your thought faculty, go into the water of the coconut and the intellect, you will be able to pick these thoughts and you will be able to understand and learn stuff that no textbooks will ever teach you. Because textbooks are going to give you interpretations. Here you're directly in touch with the thought of the artist when he or she was creating their art. Direct connection with the thought. Pure transfer of knowledge. And as I realized the meaning behind each of the artwork, I would share it with people around me and my family and my children and friends, because of course anyone who visited us in Spain, we always took them to see the Alhambra. And then soon tourists would gather around us to hear what I was saying. And they thought I was a guide and asked where they could buy a book where all this information was contained. And what can I say? Little did they know that I was simply relating what I recognized in the walls and ceilings by practicing oneness with my thought faculty. Now, this is not new to you. You've learned about oneness. You're learning about faculty of thought. When you go into oneness with the faculty of thought, you connect fully to the intelligence of the thoughts of the artists which live forever. You can do it too. We can all do it. And there are amazing celestial symbols as well in the ceilings. Numerology is alive. In each part of the palace, you're going to see the celestial symbols rotating around a specific number. Sometimes it's number 8, sometimes it's number 12. But you can actually see now, the inquiring mind that I have as a scientist, I always look at numbers. But as you go and you just focus on it, you will begin to see an order, a natural order, a spiritual order in that art. Even the plants in the gardens, if you look at the way they grow, in certain parts of the garden, the number 5 is prevalent. 5 petals, 5 jags on a leaf, 5 leaves coming out. There's the same numbers are present in different places. And there was one part that I found really fascinating is wherever you go in the Alhambra, you see these caves, little caves carved beautifully. And it looks like a mosaic. And I thought, what is the significance of this? Why is it that everywhere you go to the best part, all you get is these repetitive patterns of caves? And then I realized that Islam was revealed in a cave. And so this art was highly expressive of this. So you have to use your thought faculty, go into oneness, anchor yourself in the term, in your state of being in seeking knowledge. Anchor yourself. When I ask you, how are you? You say, I am seeking knowledge. And watch it all unfold. It's simple, practical step, but beautiful outcomes. And I encourage you highly. Now we come to thought. And there's a very symbolic fountain as you enter the Al-Nazarin Palace. And in the center of the courtyard, this fountain exists. Now, I'm sure you've all seen it in many places. But this is not a fountain that sprays water up in the air. It's like a ball, maybe about 2 meters, maybe 2 meter diameter ball. And the circumference has got jags like that, almost like a flower. And then there's water that comes into the middle of the fountain from the center, and it pops out like a tap, and the water just goes maybe that much above the water of the fountain. So it forms a ripple where the water comes out. So it forms a ripple, and then you start with the first ripple, then a second ripple, then a third bigger ripple, fourth, until you get to the seventh ripple, and then the water overflows from the fountain into a basin below the fountain, and from there the water comes back again through the center of the fountain. I'm sure you've all seen this type of a fountain before. Very tranquil, very, very soothing, just watching water. So as this water comes to the center of the fountain, let's call that the feed stream. And then each ripple gets larger up to the seventh, and then it overflows. So let's understand the deeper philosophy of this fountain. The very first water stream is the feed stream that enters the center of the fountain. This is thought. It represents the birth of a thought. As the water comes out into the center of the fountain, before the formation of the first ripple, that is the birth of a thought. It is a seed thought, and it has life. So the very center of the fountain is your seed thought that then comes to the open very gently and forms the first ripple. The first ripple is internalization of this thought in your mind. This is how an idea is born. This thought that comes, which has life, is internalized in your mind, and that's how an idea is born. The second ripple is where your thought flows from you and reaches others, the minds of others, near and far. Second ripple. The third ripple is where your thought is internalized and germinates in the minds of others who received that thought, that living thought. And again, it's irrespective of space and distance. The fourth ripple is the reaction caused by your thought in others. So they react to that thought, and this creates events and experiences which always come back towards you. The fifth ripple is these events and experiences from your thought being received back by your mind. What you think always comes back to you. The sixth ripple is the learning that your mind derives from the outcome of your original thought. You learn from those experiences, and we learned in the knowledge faculty how to convert experience to knowledge. And the seventh ripple is this knowledge that becomes light. And remember, the origin is light, the source is light, light brings life, life brings experience, experience brings knowledge, and knowledge is light. That is the full cycle of life, and this is how we grow in light as beings. Our soul grows. So when you reach the seventh ripple, that knowledge has become light, the journey of that thought has been fulfilled, and then it overflows and goes back into the source. And from there, a new seed thought is born. So that fountain, when I was looking at it, I was just amazed, because those were no ordinary ripples. They were the journey of thought. And you now can consider the fact that it's very important that you think about what you think, because we are all defined by the quality of our thoughts. And you see how beautifully this concept is captured in simple but elegant architecture. I shared the story of Alhambra with you so that you can consciously seek similar beauties in your own environment and engage with it. So you don't have to go to Alhambra to see what I'm saying. This beauty, this knowledge exists in nature. So when you look at the artwork of nature, the artist himself connect with that higher thought. When you look at architecture wherever you live, you can derive the same knowledge and understanding. I gave you Alhambra because that's what impacted me, but anywhere you are, even in the simplest of forms, you will find this inspiration, this knowledge. Now today we are focused learning purely about thought. But when we, in the next class on the faculty of karma, we will see what happens when we act on our thoughts. This is just giving birth to the thought. Remember, once you've given birth to the thought, it's out there. You can't bring it back. So very careful what you think. But when you actually act on those thoughts, then you start engaging the karmic field. And then the picture gets even bigger. And we'll look at that in our next class on the faculty of karma. Now let's come back to the center of the coconut once more. This is the most powerful dimension of thought with a direct linkage to the infinite intelligence. Those thoughts in the water in the center of the coconut. Let us consider inspiration. One of those thoughts. What is inspiration? In simple terms, inspiration is an enlightened thought that comes to the highest intelligence, which is the water in the coconut, and flows from the water to the intellect, which is the kernel and the border of the water. And from there it goes through your higher level mind and your lower level mind. So when you receive inspiration, the power of that thought starts from the center of the water of the coconut and permeates your mind through your intellect, through your higher level thought, and through your lower level mind. And these inspirations are filled with creativity and wisdom and guidance, which links the creative faculty of the superconscious mind with the karmic faculty, which is the guidance part of the superconscious mind. So as this thought comes, various parts of your superconscious mind are engaged. Creativity takes so many forms and expresses itself in higher and lower level minds in a manner that even inspires others. When you're inspired with creativity, it's a very infectious energy. Your mind radiates that positive, high energy thought, and it reaches everybody around you. And it spreads in a very positive way from our minds, which is why, remember, there's thought pollution, which is the way negative flows. This is directly in the opposite direction. So we should be seeking to harness inspiration. This is key. And in terms of guidance and wisdom, the thought of inspiration guides us to make the correct decisions at each crossroad in our lives that leads to fulfillment, that leads to dissolution of karma. So inspiration is a huge gift we all have. Let's draw more from the center of that coconut, from the superconscious mind. And in the highest level of intelligence, which is water of the coconut, there are also other very powerful thoughts. One of them is called invocation, and I'm going to focus more on that in this class. What is invocation? We have all actually practiced it. Invocation is a thought that calls out to your creator from you of whatever it is you seek. So it's different to inspiration. It's the opposite of inspiration. Inspiration comes to you from your creator. Invocation goes from you to your creator in exactly the opposite direction. It is extremely, extremely powerful. The power of invocation is incredible. And so invocation starts from the lower and higher level minds and flows through the intellect into your highest intelligence level. So from the shell of the coconut to the kernel to the water, where it is presented to your creator. Prayer is a form of invocation. We call upon our source for whatever we deeply seek. So prayer is a powerful invocation. Now, not every calling that we have is an invocation. An invocation must be deeply rooted in the 100% belief that your creator is real and present with you and is giving you the opportunity to ask, to address him. It's a very humbling gift we have to actually be able to ask of our creator directly, to invoke a thought. Very, very humbling gift. But only with belief does an invocation take birth within you and reaches out to the highest levels of the Most High. Belief is key, deeply rooted belief that your creator is real and present with you and is giving you the opportunity to ask. If you believe that fully, you can invoke thoughts that are earth-shattering, life-changing. And you will also automatically be governed in how those thoughts are invoked, because you will become humble and you will also see the beauty of it and how to use it wisely. And we will learn a lot more today on how to invoke. So we've all been blessed with the power to invoke. And what we need to know fully is what we are doing and understand our plea completely before we make it. So repeating a prayer like a parrot, with your mind focused somewhere else, you're repeating these words here, your mind's focused over there, that does not create an invocation. You're wasting your time and everybody else's time. When we look historically in different faiths, different religions, different belief sets, people are advised to repeat verses of a scripture so many times. Repeat certain words that are powerful in your prayer so many times. It could be 33, it could be 11, it could be 99, whatever. And we repeat and we chant. And this is how we have learned to invoke. Now, a lot of times we don't understand the words that we are repeating. We don't understand the meanings of the scriptures. But we still recite them. And those who do so with pure belief and focus, they find that it works. Because the Creator is very kind. You focus on Him and ask Him and pray, you are definitely heard. So your prayers do get answered. It is all about devotion, devotion to your Creator, devotion to your source. Doesn't have to be religious. If you believe it's nature or the universe or the origin, you are fully devoted to your Creator, to your origin. You have the faith that your origin, your Creator is with you, and you have the focus. Devotion, faith, and focus. If you have these three, these are the keys to invocation. These are the three core principles, the three core tools which you can practice to be able to invoke. And whatever faith you believe in, it works, whatever you do. And the best part of invocation is you practice it in accordance with your own beliefs. When I was preparing today's class, I saw a beautiful vision of a house of invocation, which we can all access to invoke whatever we seek from the Creator. And consider this house of invocation as your gift from the Creator, each one of us. And today we will learn the art of prayer through meditation using the house of invocation. So we'll learn about the art of prayer through invocation. Now, we have a beautiful artist's rendering prepared by Karen Johnson, who is one of our original members of Shift from the beginning. And when I saw this vision, and she and I are very connected, and I asked her, I gave her the description and said, can you convert this vision with your inspired hands into art and reproduce what I'm seeing? And she produced the most amazing, amazing artwork of this house of invocation. I'm going to let you walk through this vision with me and imagine and see what I'm saying. So the house of invocation is a beautiful circular white colored building which has a domed roof. So circular white colored building with a domed roof. It is the size of, say, your living room. It's not huge, but there it is, white, gentle dome. Fits into nature beautifully. And it sits on a hill surrounded by beautiful gardens. And there is a staircase that goes up the hill to this house of invocation. We all can tune into that vision, and maybe you will see it differently, but the house of invocation lives with all of us. And this is how we sharpen our focus in meditation to be able to invoke, and invoke knowing exactly what we're doing. At the bottom of the staircase is a small circular garden, very beautiful, with colorful flowers, shrubs, and lush green leaves and grass. So there's a circular garden at the bottom of the staircase. This is your lower level mind. So when you're going to your house of invocation, you first pass your lower level mind. So when you start at the bottom of the staircase, you go completely silent, as we do in all other meditations. And you keep repeating silence, silence, silence. As you climb the steps, you let your mind go completely silent. And so you start climbing towards your house of invocation, repeating the word silence. Then halfway up this staircase, between where you are at the bottom and where the house of invocation is, you come to another garden, which is also small and circular. But most of this garden is covered by a large circular pond of crystal clear water. There are some rocks scattered around the edges of the pond. And you stop for a moment and look at the water. And it has some tiny ripples. But as you look at the ripples and you keep repeating stillness, stillness, stillness. And with those thoughts, you make those ripples go completely still. So the pond is now completely still. And in the pond, there are 3 flowers, lotus flowers. One represents the world. The second lotus flower represents the past. And the third lotus flower represents the future. So you look at each of these three flowers, and you're repeating in your mind gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. You're grateful for the world you have. You're grateful for your past and all its lessons. You're grateful for the future and the hope and everything you aspire to. Once you've completed this, you now leave them behind. You leave behind the past, you leave behind the future, you leave behind the world, and you go in complete stillness as you climb the staircase to the House of Invocation. And as you climb, at each step, you repeat stillness, 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 until you reach the House of Invocation. Beautiful white circular building, size of your living room, white dome, gentle, nothing on it, simple. And there is a door. And the door is dark in color with intricate carvings on it, etched in. And you push the door open and you enter your House of Invocation. And as you enter, you see that the dome emits a beautiful, soft white light, very warm, very welcoming, very gentle ambience. In the House of Invocation, there are 4 windows, finished exactly like the door, and they are spaced equal distance around the circle, the circumference. And these windows are small. They're about the length of your stretched arm, basically. They're not big. There's 4 of them. But there's no glass on the windows, and they are just like 4 tiny doors, which can be opened to view the beautiful gardens below and allow in the fresh, cool breeze. But you keep the windows closed. The room itself is cool and softly lit. On the floor, there is a very comfortable white rug with green cushions along the walls, against the circular walls. So you sit down comfortably on the cushions and you begin to contemplate. You've closed the door, windows are closed, there's you in this lovely white ambience, circular, sitting on the floor against the cushions, and now you are ready to contemplate. And this, all of that is outside, is now outside. Your lower level mind is outside, your higher level mind is outside. The past, the future, the world you came from, you've left it all behind. It's all outside. Nothing's coming in this house. This house is for you to purely focus on your invocation. Now, you sit comfortably and begin with the first step. Now, I'm going to walk you through an invocation and then we'll actually practice one in today's meditation. So as you sit down, you contemplate the thought that you seek to invoke. So there is a contemplation phase. What is the thought you seek to invoke? So let's say you're going through severe economic hardship and you want to invoke abundance. So you will invoke abundance. So you take a few moments and you contemplate, what does abundance mean to you? So you're sitting there with your eyes closed and you're contemplating what abundance means to you. What images does it conjure in your mind of everything being plentiful, resources being ample, everything being ample? Connect with the feeling of abundance because you are now going to invoke abundance. So you got to know what you're asking for. Internalize the word abundance and feel it in your being. Feel abundant. Then you contemplate the attribute of your Creator that goes with abundance. So, for example, that would be, the attribute would be the provider of all. The provider of all. So you contemplate these words and think of your Creator as the source of all your resources. And reflect on this with deepest gratitude and reflect on the provider of all. Think about it. And it'll invoke in you a confidence because you're now going to reach out. Your plea is going to the provider of all. So you've contemplated what you're going to invoke, which is abundance. You contemplated the attribute of the one who you're going to present your plea, who is the provider of all. When you've done that contemplation, however long you need, and you truly understand what you're going to seek to invoke in complete humility, you then go into your meditative state, where you close your eyes and you keep repeating, and I'll walk you through this and then we'll practice it together. You keep repeating stillness, 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 and you go completely still, completely still. And you've learned this technique. Next, once you've gone completely still in your meditation, you go directly to oneness, oneness, oneness. Now, in all our meditations, we go through detachment and all, but you've already done that on your way up the mountain, up the hill. So you walked away from the world, the past, the future. You've detached. So you can go straight to oneness. And you keep repeating the word oneness. And keep repeating it as you connect with the oneness, with all creation, with your source, with everything, all that you see and all that you don't. You go into the space of pure oneness, and we have practiced that together many times. Then, when you reach that state of really connecting within the oneness, you repeat the attribute of your Creator, which you've already contemplated, which is the provider of all. And you keep repeating that, the provider of all. And as you're repeating that, you are presenting yourself to the provider of all with open hands, with complete humility, the provider of all. You keep repeating that for as long as you wish. You're presenting yourself to the provider of all. And then you move to, your thoughts would repeat, abundance, abundance, abundance. And you keep repeating the word abundance for as long as you wish, because you've contemplated what it makes you feel. So now you're presenting that plea to the provider of all. And after you've practiced that, after you've repeated abundance for as long as you wish, you then go to bless me with abundance. Or you can choose bless us with abundance. I prefer us, but you can feel free to choose. If me resonates with you, then bless me with abundance. Or bless us with abundance. And you keep repeating that. So you presented your plea. You've invoked abundance. And you're asking to be blessed with abundance. And once you've repeated that for a period of time, you finish with gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude for the opportunity to have been blessed with this house of invocation, to have sat there fully prepared, and to have presented your plea to the provider of all. And you keep repeating gratitude, gratitude. And this is how you have now invoked abundance in the presence of the oneness, in the presence of your Creator. Then you open your eyes and you just enjoy the peace of your house of invocation. It's yours, your very own house of invocation. And even when your eyes are open, you just keep repeating peace, peace, peace. And you keep repeating that and you feel the complete peace. Your state of being becomes pure peace. And you can stay in that house as long as you wish, because it's your own spiritual home of invocation. It is your home of prayer within you. And you go into meditative state and you offer that prayer. But you offer it with sharp focus, knowing what you are seeking, and seeking with that humility and that hope. That's how you invoke abundance. That is the art of prayer. Now, depending on your belief, whatever religion you believe in, whatever school of thought you come from, you can choose your own words. You can choose the words that your scriptures teach you about the provider of all. You can choose a language that you wish. I'm just presenting to you what I do, and it's in English. But you can use whatever your faith teaches you. You can use whatever wording you believe in. But go with that technique of reaching pure abundance and presenting your plea. So, as you leave the house of invocation, you open the door and you look out, and it's just beautiful. You can see that lovely landscape, breathe in the fresh air. And as you walk down, you just keep repeating gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. As you go past the first garden now, which is the pond and the 3 lotus flowers, which is your past, your future, and your world, give gratitude until you go down all the way. This is the utmost humility that you are projecting. And when you reach the lower level mind, the bottom, the first garden, you turn around, you look at your house of invocation. And what I do is I put my 2 hands together and I offer gratitude, because you do it with utmost humility. You offer gratitude. Then you go and engage with your day and engage with your life. But this is the art of invoking abundance, for example. In essence, it's a prayer you offered through meditation, fully understanding what you were asking for. And with this focus and understanding, everything can help work for you. And as I said, your choice of language, words, all that beliefs, it's entirely up to you. What I've shared with you is a method that draws on devotion, a method that draws on faith, and a method that draws on pure focus. You can practice other invocations. Let's look at a few examples. For example, so we covered economic hardship or resource hardship, which the attribute of the Creator was provider of all. And the invocation is abundance. And you conclude with bless us with abundance, or bless me with abundance. So let's say, for example, you want to invoke help with an illness or help for healing, whether it's for you or for others. The attribute of your Creator would be the healer of all. And the invocation would be heal in the name of the Creator, whatever name you choose. It can be Krishna, Allah, Ram, Christ, or nature, origin, whatever you choose, but it's heal in the name of, I use the light. So heal in the name of the light. And then as you invoke that, towards the end you say, bless me with healing, or bless us with healing. Again, I prefer us, but it's your call. This is your invocation. I can't tell you what to do. This is between you and Him. How you present your plea is up to you. And so that's another one. If you are lonely and you are seeking companionship, the attribute of your Creator that you would think of is the eternal companion. The eternal companion. And the invocation would be companionship. Companionship. You will keep repeating companionship in a nice rhythmic motion. And you will conclude with bless me with companionship, or bless us with companionship. If you are seeking love in your life, the attribute of your Creator would be the ever-loving. The ever-loving. And the invocation is love. And you keep repeating love, love. And you will conclude with bless me with love, or bless us with love. So that would be your invocation for love. And I'm giving you examples that work for me. If you're seeking happiness, the attribute of your Creator would be the source of all happiness. the source of all happiness. So you're presenting your plea to the source of all happiness, and you're invoking happiness, happiness, happiness. And you're concluding with, bless me with happiness, or bless us with happiness. If you are seeking peace, and we will do the peace one today together. If you are seeking peace, the attribute is the eternal peace. Think about it, the eternal peace. This is peace that is endless. No beginning, no end, endless peace. And that is who you are presenting your invocation for peace. So the eternal peace. And your invocation word would be peace, peace, peace. And again, for as long as you wish. And you would conclude with bless me with peace, or bless us with peace. If you are seeking unity, you want to invoke unity in your life, or in your family, or in your country, or in the world. You're seeking unity, the attribute of your Creator is the non-divisible. The non-divisible. Nothing can divide your Creator. Complete and utter pure unity. The non-divisible. The non-divisible. And the invocation would be unity. You'd keep repeating unity, unity. And you would conclude with, bless me with unity, or bless us with unity. So that's unity. If you are seeking resolution of conflict in your life with people, with loved ones, whatever, or seeking resolution of conflict in your village, your home, your country, wars, you would use the attribute of your Creator as the resolver of all. So you're presenting your plea to the resolver of all. And the invocation is, resolve our conflicts. Resolve our conflicts. And you conclude with, bless us with complete resolution. Bless us with complete resolution. If you're seeking relief from difficulty, and right now so many of us, nearly all of us, are in that difficulty, then you invoke the attribute of the most merciful. The most merciful. So you're presenting your plea to the most merciful of all. And you are seeking, you're invoking, ease our difficulties. Ease our difficulties. That's your invocation which you are presenting to the most merciful. And you conclude with, bless me with relief from all difficulty, or bless us with relief from all difficulty. So you see, we can invoke whatever we need for the betterment of our lives with pure focus and with that faith and with that devotion. I'll do two more and then conclude. If you're seeking protection from danger or fear, then the attribute is the protector of all. The protector of all. So you're presenting your plea to the protector of all, and your invocation word is safety, safety, safety. And you conclude with, keep us safe, keep us safe. And finally, if you're looking for, you want to invoke spiritual growth and union with the light, we all want that. The attribute is the ultimate one. The ultimate one. You're seeking light from the ultimate one, your ultimate goal, your ultimate destination. The ultimate one, that's the attribute. And the invocation is light, light, light. And you conclude with, bless us with light, bless us with light. So now, I know I've covered quite a few of them, and I promise you we are going to prepare recordings this week of each of these invocations. So you can practice them and learn how to use your House of Invocation to help you seek whatever you will in earnest. So I'll share these with you, and we'll have these recordings done, as quickly as possible so you can practice. Also, if you guys want to share other invocations that you would like me to work with and put together the attribute and the invocation other than these 11, email them to us and I will add them to the list that we record. So that way you will be helping us as well. After all, we have to do this together. But we have learned the first steps of the true art of prayer through meditation. Knowing fully what we are asking for, knowing fully the attributes of the Creator that we are pleading to, and this is the art of prayer. You're doing it with full awareness, with full faith, with full devotion. Now, let's conclude with a house of invocation. Let's use our house of invocation and let's focus on invoking peace. So now, let's prepare to do our meditation. I'd like to sit back, relax. This is a shorter meditation, but I want you to learn the technique of invoking peace. So close your eyes, dim your lights, relax and breathe freely. Be completely relaxed and breathe freely. I'd like you to imagine you're standing at the bottom of a hill, and next to you is a circular garden, beautiful circular garden, with shrubs, with flowers, with plants, nature. All is luscious green. The sky is blue, the sun is shining, and you're looking at this little circular garden, from where there begins a staircase that leads to this beautiful circular white building, which has a dome as its roof, very gentle dome, making it blend completely into the environment. And this white building, circular white building, is your house of invocation. And you're starting from the first garden at the bottom of the staircase. And as you look at this garden, you repeat, silence, silence, silence. Keep repeating the word silence and go completely silent as you stand at the bottom of the staircase to your house of invocation in the circular garden. It's a small garden. Silence. Go completely silent. And you start climbing up the steps towards your house of invocation, that beautiful, small, circular white building. And with each step, you repeat silence, silence, silence. And you slowly climb up the steps in silence. Until you reach a second garden, which is on your right-hand side. And it's a circular garden. And you turn and look at it. And most of this garden is made up of a circular pond. The pond has crystal clear water. Look at this pond. There's some rocks along its borders. In this pond you see 3 flowers, lotus flowers. Look at the flowers. Look at the pond. And you see tiny ripples of water. And you look at the water and you keep repeating, stillness, stillness, stillness. And as you repeat the word stillness, you make the water go completely still. All the ripples come to a complete stop. Stillness. Keep repeating stillness. Stillness. And the water has gone completely still. You can see the reflection of the blue sky in the water now. And you look at the first lotus flower. Beautiful, deep, pinkish red flower. And this is your world. And you look at that flower and repeat, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. You offer gratitude for your world and everything in it, your loved ones, your life, your ambitions, your experience, your journey. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And then you look at the next lotus flower, the deep red pinkish flower, which represents your past. And you look at that flower and repeat, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude for all the gifts of experience, the gifts of the past, all the learning that has shaped you and made you who you are. Gratitude. 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 And then you look at the third lotus flower, all floating on the water with beautiful lotus leaves around them. And this is the future. And you offer gratitude for the future, for the hope, for your aspirations, for all that is to come. Gratitude for the gift of life that you pray comes. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude. The water is completely still, reflecting the sky, the blue sky. You now begin to climb up the stairs, leaving behind the world, the past, the future. As you climb up the stairs, repeating stillness, stillness, stillness. Each step you climb, you repeat stillness. Stillness until you reach the door of this beautiful white circular building, the size of your living room. The door is dark wood with intricate carvings along its borders. You push the door open and you step into your house of invocation, and you close the door behind you. You look at the white circular walls, evenly lit by a soft white light that comes from the dome, from the roof. You look at the 4 windows, which are like little doors. You will keep these windows closed. You are now in your house of invocation, your house of higher thought. On the floor, you see a beautiful, soft, white rug, and you seat yourself down. And there are green cushions along the wall, and you rest yourself against the cushion. And you are now ready to contemplate your invocation. And you are in complete peace. Your eyes are closed. And you repeat, you think of what you're seeking to invoke. We're seeking to invoke peace. And we start by repeating the attribute of our Creator, that is peace. Just repeat the words, eternal peace. Eternal peace. You contemplate the meaning of eternal peace. Think of eternal peace. What does it invoke in you? What does it make you feel? You're presenting yourself to an unending peace. Contemplate the meaning of eternal peace. You can repeat it slowly as you contemplate it. Eternal peace, which is your Creator. Take a moment and contemplate eternal peace. Eternal peace, which is endless. And you contemplate this for as long as you wish. Contemplate its meaning. And then you move to contemplating the word peace. What does peace mean to you? Connect with the word peace. Feel the peace. Contemplate peace. As you slowly repeat in your mind the word peace, contemplate it. Connect with it. Peace. Peace. You have contemplated the attribute of your Creator, the eternal peace, the endless peace. You've contemplated what peace means to you. You felt peace. And now you're ready to invoke peace. So start by repeating stillness, 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 and go completely still as you repeat stillness on your own for a few moments. Stillness, you're completely still. And now you move to oneness, oneness, oneness. As you connect with your Creator, with all creation, everything that you've seen and all that you haven't, all the creation in all the universes, oneness. Connect with your source, oneness, oneness. Keep repeating this word. Oneness, oneness. And then you repeat the attribute of your Creator. For peace, you repeat the eternal peace. In the oneness, you seek the eternal peace. The eternal peace. Keep repeating these words. The attribute of your Creator. The eternal peace. Eternal peace. Eternal peace. Eternal peace. And then you invoke peace, peace, peace. Keep repeating the word peace, nice and slowly. Peace, peace. You invoke peace in the presence of the eternal peace. Peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Keep repeating peace for a couple of more moments. Peace, peace, peace. And then we pray, bless us with peace. Bless us with peace. Bless us with peace. Keep repeating these words in the presence of the eternal peace. Bless us with peace. Bless us with peace. Bless our world with peace. Bless our world with peace. Bless our world with peace. Keep repeating those words. Bless our world with peace, peace, peace. You have offered in all humility your invocation of peace to your Creator, the eternal peace. You've offered your prayer for peace to your Creator, the eternal peace. And now it's time to head down, so you stand up. Look at this beautiful white room, softly lit with white light. You open the door and look down before you at the staircase and the lovely gardens and the blue skies, and breathe in the cool, fresh air. As you start walking down, repeating the words, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. With each step, you repeat gratitude, gratitude. As you reach the first garden with the pool of water which is still, and you see the 3 lotus flowers, your world, your past, your future, keep repeating gratitude, gratitude, gratitude as you continue to walk down the steps. Gratitude, gratitude, until you reach the bottom garden. Beautiful flowers, luscious green grass. You turn around, you look at your white house of invocation, your house of spiritual thought, your house of higher thought. With your hands folded and your head lowered, you repeat gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And you can open your eyes whenever you wish. That was a very peaceful meditation, pure peace. And I'd like to offer my deepest gratitude to each one of you for being here, for sharing your light and your peace with us all. We've learned today about inspiration and about invocation, the art of prayer through meditation. And going forward, we will prepare recordings for you, ample recordings, so you can practice this and begin to use your house of invocation. I use my house of invocation during the middle of my day. Even when I'm going through a stressful period, I just shut my eyes and I go there and I contemplate. And even if I have nothing to invoke, I go there, I find peace. I seek peace and I come back. I seek light and I come back. It's your own place. And the best part is you can seek with whatever your own beliefs are.
Somebody was asking about the cradle of the soul. Could you please explain in detail?
So we have the lower level mind, then you've got the higher level mind, then we have the intellect, and beyond that intellect is what we have is the superconscious mind. And the superconscious mind is where the soul resides. So that is the cradle of the soul. And we covered the first faculty, which was the faculty of light. And that was directly to do with the cradle of the soul, where it resides in the superconsciousness. Surrounding that, you've got the faculty of infinite intelligence, which is also part of the soul. And then you've got 8 other faculties, which are all geared towards maximizing the value of our life in this world, gaining the most experience and knowledge, growing the most spiritually. And these faculties all come to play one by one, and we have covered the knowledge faculty. And like that, then there is the karmic faculty, the creative faculty, the equilibrium faculty, the harmony faculty, the cosmic faculty. So there's 10 in total. And so the superconscious mind itself is the cradle of the soul. And these classes we're doing is to help us understand the soul better, to help us nurture the soul, care for the soul, advance in meditation, add more light to the soul such that it reaches a stage where it can complete its journey in this lifetime if we are blessed so. And that's where meditation is a major tool. That's where living with conscious awareness of the oneness is a major tool. And so in each of these classes, I will be sharing techniques that just further and further your capability to grow in your material and spiritual lives. And the best part about the cradle of the soul and the superconsciousness and how we are learning it is it's completely universal. So each one of us can practice whatever is taught in accordance with your own beliefs, your own faith. And these are tools that prepare you for that higher journey in full accordance with your own beliefs. So, Cradle of the Soul, you will be hearing about it until we've gone through the 10 faculties. And I hope that with each class, your understanding will grow further. Last week, we did the knowledge faculty where I actually shared with you practical ways of digging into the roots of your experiences in your day-to-day life and from events and converting that experience to knowledge at a conscious level. And that knowledge then becomes light as we recognize the presence of our Creator at the end of each of these roots. And as I explained also, that all this knowledge, which we discover from life, exists in the scriptures. But the scriptures, when we read it, it comes here. When we live it, it comes here. And so you have to live this life to learn and to grow. And the cradle is synonymous with it's a child which you nurture, which you care for, which you love, which you will do anything for. That must be your soul. So I hope that clarifies the definition.
Any recommendation on how to deal with intimidation and mean comments from others using what we have learned? And they went on to say, I have worked really hard on my confidence, but so many bad experiences have led to be scared around other people.
Good question. The most powerful tool you can use is anchor thought. And anchor thought is where you go into stillness and you anchor your state of being into a given thought. And so, for example, when I ask you, how are you? And you say, I'm fine, that's a very meaningless statement. You must anchor yourself consciously into a state of being in the present. So if you anchor yourself in happiness, and I ask you, how are you? You're going to say, I'm happy. If you anchor yourself in confidence, then when I ask you, how are you? You say, I'm feeling very confident. I'm feeling strong. Anchor yourself in peace, which is a beautiful one, because especially when mean things are said and they get to you, and it's really important that we not let them get to us, because the damage it does to us is far more than the injury that others who say these things try to inflict upon us. It is more to do with how sensitive we are. Some of us are very sensitive, some of us are less sensitive. Some of us have learned from life that it doesn't help to absorb so much pain from the words of others, which are so temporary. Because really, at the end of your life's journey, none of these people are going to be around. When it's your time to move on from this world, these people may be long gone, long forgotten. They may not even know you exist. So we have to kind of repel these emotions that are invoked through being sensitive. So anchoring yourself in confidence, anchoring yourself in peace, anchoring yourself in clarity. Clarity gives you the presence of mind to be able to sift out the noise and the nonsense, and those don't touch you. I remember that I was working with one person who was highly sensitive, and so sensitive that each time he walked into a room and people were laughing, he would immediately feel like they were laughing at him. And it was a very tough way to live life. And he learned with anchor thought to repel this. And when each thought pierced him, the first question that came into his mind, or the first statement that came into his mind, is, "This is unimportant. It does not make me. It does not break me." If you diminish the importance of those comments, they don't hurt you. So if you're anchored in confidence, and then you hear things that are beginning to bother you and you go, "This is unimportant, it doesn't make me or break me," then it's neutral. It's got no effect on you. And slowly, with that mindset and repeating that one affirmation, "This is unimportant, it does not make me, it does not break me." And with that, anchored in confidence, over time, you will find that you will rise above the comments of people. And that affirmation is so true, because the things people say to us, we're the only ones who carry the pain and the baggage. They've moved on. Some of them don't even know we exist, or they don't even remember saying what they did. Why should we be the ones carrying the baggage? Let it go. So diminish the importance, anchor in confidence. And I think you will start to find it help you. And if you haven't attended the previous classes, do go and listen to master classes 1, 2, and 3, the original ones. And you've got the recordings, practice those techniques, because they give you a chance to take charge of your own state of being. You are empowered. You mean something to yourself.
So the question is that how can we learn more towards having good thoughts as opposed to bad or discouraging thoughts?
I think this is where part of what I'm going to talk about today comes to play. Because you have to be very conscious of the quality of your thoughts. You almost have to think about what you think. And if you have become self-conscious and aware of the quality of your thoughts, and you start practicing some of the techniques I'll share with you today about how you refine your thinking, you will find that you will be giving birth to more positive thoughts than negative, because also thoughts that come to your mind are a reflection of your own inner state of being. And if your inner state of being shifts towards the positive, then you will be emitting positive thoughts. And I think hopefully by the end of the class today, you should have had ample ammunition on that front. So I bid you all stay safe, stay happy, stay blessed, and look forward to seeing you next Saturday for the last refresher class on linkage. Thank you very much. God bless you all.